Getting started. The Alcolock GR Interlock is equipped with a handset that is used for providing breath samples. The handset requires mouthpieces that are available from your local service center. Connecting and disconnecting the handset, wired option only. To connect the handset, plug in the cable connector directly into the handset connector by angling the cable connector to the handset connector and aligning the pins. Please note that if the connectors are not aligned, they will not latch. Forcing a non-aligned connector may break it, rendering you unable to use the system and leaving your vehicle immobilized. To disconnect the handset, hold the connector by the plug and gently angle the handset connector to disengage the connection. Do not attempt to pull out the connector directly without angling it, as this can damage the connectors or the cable and result in extra fees. Charging the battery and powering on, wireless option only. Ensure that your handset has an adequate charge before attempting a breath test. The Alcolock GR comes with a DC car charger and an optional AC adapter. If you forget to charge your handset, you may be left without enough power to perform a test and start up your vehicle. To power on the handset, press and hold the center part of the navigation button for 4 seconds and follow the sequence as directed on the display. Inserting the mouthpiece. When removing a new mouthpiece from its plastic bag, be sure to tear the bag by hand or cut it. Often, when the mouthpiece is removed from the plastic by pushing it through the bag, a small piece of plastic is caught inside the mouthpiece. When a breath sample is provided, the piece of plastic can become lodged inside the handset, causing a malfunction. This results in unscheduled service and applicable fees. The mouthpiece should insert into the top left side of the handset with ease. Providing breath samples. Note: do not turn the ignition on. You must provide a breath test first. Simply turning the ignition key will cause a turn off key message on the handset display, and if left unattended, may result in an early recall. Press and hold the center part of the navigation button for 4 seconds to wake it up. Insert a mouthpiece and do not attempt a test until the unit has completed the power-up sequence. This may take up to 3 minutes in extremely cold weather. The handset will display "Wait," and the indicator light will blink yellow. If the alcohol interlock is plugged in, but has gone into sleep mode, turn the power on again by pressing the center button and follow the sequence as directed on the display. Wait until the display indicates "Blow" for 4 seconds before attempting a breath test. The indicator light will turn green. You should not eat, drink, smoke, or use mouthwash for at least 15 minutes before taking a test. After eating, you should rinse your mouth with water to ensure there is no food left that could cause alcohol detection when you attempt a test. Warning: please do not use the windshield washer, aerosol air fresheners, disinfectants, cologne, or perfume in the vehicle for at least 10 minutes prior to the test, as this fluid contains high levels of alcohol and may affect the results of the test. If you have used any of these products, roll down the windows for a few minutes to ventilate the vehicle well. Blow for 4 seconds as well as hum into the mouthpiece with sufficient and constant pressure to cause a constant tone to sound. Continue blowing and humming simultaneously for a total of approximately 4 seconds until the tone stops. The display shows a "wait" message for several seconds while the sample is analyzed. The breath sample will be aborted if you do not blow hard enough, do not blow long enough, if you blow too hard, hum too quietly, or if you hum too late. If the sample is aborted, the handset will display the reason for the aborted test, and the indicator light will turn red. After a few moments, the handset will display "Wait," followed by "Blow" for 4 seconds once the handset is ready for another sample. The indicator light will flash yellow, then turn green respectively. The results of the breath sample will determine whether or not you can start the vehicle. If your breath sample contains an amount of alcohol below the warning level or no alcohol at all, the handset will simply indicate "Start motor," and the indicator light will turn green. Note: not all jurisdictions have a warning level, and any amount of breath alcohol that is detected will prevent starting the motor. Please refer to your compliance guide if you are unsure if this structure applies to you. Depending on your jurisdiction, if your breath sample contains an amount of alcohol over the warning threshold, but not enough alcohol to fail the test, the handset will indicate caution, and the indicator light will turn yellow. Please note that if you are aware that your alcohol level is rising when you receive a caution, do not start the motor, as you are not likely to pass a retest and it may not be safe to drive. When you receive a caution message, you will have two options. You may press Cancel to wait 5 minutes and try the test again, or press Confirm to acknowledge that you intend to drive with alcohol in your system. If your breath sample contains an amount of alcohol above the failure level, the handset will indicate a lockout message with a timer displaying the number of minutes you will need to wait before attempting another test. The indicator light will turn red. If a consecutive fail result follows, the lockout time will be extended. In some jurisdictions, multiple failures are considered a program violation. Please note: all breath test results are recorded in memory and are downloaded during routine monitoring appointments. Any instance of alcohol detected in the breath samples may be considered a program violation. Refer to your compliance guide for program conditions. When a test is passed, you will have up to 3 minutes to start the vehicle, depending on your jurisdiction. If you take longer than 3 minutes, you will need to test again. When you have started the vehicle engine, Drive Safely is displayed. Retesting. Successive retests are required at random times while the motor is running. The display will indicate Retest. The indicator light will flash yellow, and a double beep will sound. The first retest occurs within the first 5 minutes after starting the vehicle. Subsequent retests will occur at regular intervals and may range from 15 to 45 minutes, depending on your jurisdiction. Refer to your compliance guide for additional information. In response to a retest request, carefully stop your vehicle at the side of the road and perform a successful breath test before you resume driving. Depending on your jurisdiction, a time of between 3 to 8 minutes is provided for this function. The procedure for a retest is the same as for an initial test. Hum and blow with sufficient and constant pressure for a total of approximately 4 seconds until the tone ends. The display indicates wait. The result is indicated through a message, a light, and a tone. If a retest is not taken and passed within the allotted time of the request, the interlock will log a missed retest condition. Missed retest will display and the indicator light will flash yellow along with the visual indication and warning tones. Depending on your jurisdiction, this may cause your alarm horn as well as the light bar to be activated. If the test is taken and not passed, the interlock will record a failed retest. If a failed retest occurs, the display will indicate Pull over, turn off motor. The indicator light will flash red, and a tone will sound, indicating you have 3 minutes to pull over and shut off the motor. Depending on your jurisdiction, this may result in a recall. Failure to shut off the motor within a further 3-minute period will trigger an immediate or early recall. The service reminder will reset to 5 days, and the display will indicate immediate or early recall, along with the final date on which you can drive the vehicle before a service lockout. The interlock system will not shut off your vehicle during operation. Note: after shutting off your motor, you are given between 2 to 3 minutes, depending on your jurisdiction, to restart your engine due to the fact that the vehicle may be parked in an unsafe location. You can exit the restart mode prior to its expiry by pressing the right key on the navigation button. After shutting off the motor in response to the Pull over, turn off motor message, the interlock will enter a lockout condition and the vehicle will be immobilized for between 5 to 30 minutes, depending on your jurisdiction. If a second fail result follows, the lockout period will be extended. Note: a fail result following a retest request could be considered a program violation depending on your jurisdiction. Please refer to your compliance guide for more information. Restart feature. After you power the vehicle off, the handset provides a time period during which you can restart the motor without a breath test. The message, "Restart available," is displayed during that period, and the indicator light will flash green. Refer to your compliance guide for the restart time limit. Note: if a retest request has been initiated, you should complete the retest before powering off, depending on your jurisdiction. Battery life. The handset is equipped to perform a certain number of breath tests. On a full charge and under room temperature, this number can be well over 100 tests. The charge on the handset is indicated as power bars in the top right-hand corner of the display. The service provider will provide a DC car charger to charge the handset in the car. An additional accessory is the AC power adapter that can be plugged into an indoor wall receptacle. It is advised to regularly charge the handset so that it can be used consistently. Warm-up feature. For jurisdictions that allow this feature, once an approved breath sample has been provided, the interlock will allow the user to put the unit in a warm-up mode. This feature is activated by pressing the center key on the navigation button, which displays Warm Up, and by leaving the vehicle in park. Once activated, the interlock will not ask for a retest for up to 30 minutes depending on your jurisdiction. Once the feature has been exited, either by pressing the gas pedal or when the 30 minutes is up, the interlock will ask for a retest. Follow the entire process of retesting as stated previously. Please note: the handset may power off the screen after a period of inactivity. Pressing the center button will wake up the handset. Program compliance. Scheduled service. Regular inspection of the interlock device and downloading of data is required as part of the interlock program. If the vehicle has not been serviced by the service date, the display will indicate Service Due, and the final date on which you can drive the vehicle before a service lockout. If you do not return to a service center by the lockout date and time displayed, the system will enter into service lockout. A service lockout immobilizes your vehicle, prohibiting the vehicle from starting. If a service lockout occurs, you may be liable for towing the vehicle and for paying any applicable service charges. If this occurs, contact your service provider for further details. Your first scheduled service will be booked at the time the interlock is installed in your vehicle. Subsequent service dates will be booked each time you return to have the unit serviced. If you need to reschedule an appointment, call at least 48 hours in advance. Any missed appointments that are not rescheduled will incur a service fee. Please refer to your enrollment package for details. Unscheduled service. If servicing is required between scheduled service appointments, call ahead to book an appointment and avoid service lockout condition. Service centers are not set up to handle drop-in appointments. Most unscheduled services incur a service fee. As with scheduled service, call ahead if rescheduling is required, as a missed appointment will still incur a fee. Vehicle maintenance. It is highly recommended that you contact your service center prior to an appointment, as any maintenance that would cause the battery to be disconnected will cause a start violation, which would be regarded as a program violation. Remember to request and retain a detailed invoice or receipt in order to prove that a mechanic worked on your vehicle. Disconnecting the vehicle's battery for more than 15 minutes or 3 power-off events lasting 5 minutes or longer will trigger an early recall. Please refer to your compliance guide for more information. Battery boosting is not recommended. However, if you must boost the battery in an emergency situation, you should contact your interlock service provider first. Program violations. The terms for program violations vary by jurisdiction. Please refer to your compliance guide for details on what constitutes a violation in your area. Precautions. During cold weather, a buildup of moisture may accumulate in the device from water vapor in the breath, and may freeze if left in cold temperatures for a prolonged period. This can cause a prolonged warm-up time when the device is turned on, or invalid sample messages when attempting a breath sample. The handset should be taken indoors during cold weather to prevent these complications from occurring. When transporting the handset, it is best to keep it inside the provided pouch to protect it from the elements. The handset should not be left in direct sunlight or in the glove compartment, as excess heat may cause damage to the unit. Avoid spraying any air fresheners, disinfectants, cologne, or perfume in the vehicle prior to a test, as these may contain alcohol that can be detected by the interlock. If you have used any of these products, roll down the windows for a few minutes to ventilate the vehicle well. Be aware that if you spray washer fluid on your windshield, vapor may travel through your ventilation system and be absorbed by your interlock while performing a test. To avoid this complication, ventilate the vehicle and let plenty of fresh air in after using windshield washer fluid. Pay attention to any messages that display a date with 11:59 as the time. They indicate that you have missed your scheduled service or have an unscheduled recall service. If you do not return to a service center by the date and time displayed, the system will enter into a service lockout. If your system enters service lockout, the vehicle may need to be towed and you will be liable for the expenses and service call. Contact your service provider if a service lockout occurs. Please note, the interlock system will not shut off your vehicle during operation. Contact your service center or toll-free line whenever you require assistance. Things to remember. Always maintain a battery charge in your handset. Failure to do so may render you unable to perform a breath test due to insufficient power. The interlock will not shut off your vehicle during operation. Only turning the key to the off position will shut off the vehicle. Always be aware of any recall message. If you receive one, call your service center immediately. You should not eat, drink, smoke, or use mouthwash for at least 15 minutes before taking a test. After eating, you should rinse your mouth with water. Avoid spraying any air fresheners, disinfectants, cologne, or perfume in the vehicle prior to a test. If you have used any of these products, roll down the windows for a few minutes to ventilate the vehicle well. When performing a breath test, blow for 4 seconds as well as hum into the mouthpiece with sufficient and constant pressure to cause a constant tone to sound. A tone that is not constant may indicate an aborted test. Read and follow your instruction manual and compliance guide.